Guys, this is such huge breaking news today. For the first time, the Supreme Court is getting involved in between Trump and the Democrats. And guys, unfortunately, they sided with the Democrats. The Supreme Court pauses Trump's administration's effort to fire head of whistleblower protection agency. This is one of President Joe Biden's top guys that they said Trump is not allowed to fire. So whatever's happening, guys, whatever's going on, this is huge breaking news. Again, why? Because the Supreme Court usually would have sided with Trump, but now we see that they have sided with the Democrats and then pushing to keep Biden's people in place. I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comments section, but Trump is furious right now. Elon Musk is furious. The Trump admin, they're trying to figure out how they can get around this, but it looks like some of Biden's appointees are here to stay. And guys, these are very liberal, progressive people. On top of that, Trump is calling on Elon to go into beast mode right now. I mean, this is insane that he said, I would like to see him get more aggressive. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make America greater than ever before, MAGA. And again, guys, Trump and Elon are doubling down on saying that they want DOGE checks. This is from the Business Insider. Trump and Musk want DOGE checks. And it goes into saying the more savings that they can get, the more money that they can give back to the American people, and the more that people will start to see that what Trump and Elon are doing is actually a great, great thing for America. And also, Trump calls, guys, this is huge. Trump is calling the DOJ to investigate a threat to democracy called MSNBC. He said Russia collusion was fake. They pushed it. COVID. All the misinformation was fake. They pushed it. The Hunter Biden laptop story, they pushed it. It was fake. They said there was no voter fraud. There was voter fraud. January 6th, Ukraine, Epstein files, everything having to do with Trump, they pushed. It was fake. And he said they need to be held accountable. And we are going to be having the DOJ do an investigation into them because they might lose their license on the airs and the waves and whatnot. So, guys, this Supreme Court issues is huge news, guys. I'm super upset about this. Let me know your thought. But I cannot believe that they paused Trump's administration's effort to fire the head of the Whistleblower Protection Agency. And they said that more likely they are going to side more on the Democrat side when it comes to a lot of these things for some reason or another, guys. I don't know what the heck's going on. We got a ton of breaking news to get into today. The IRS, the DOGE checks, the Supreme Court. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching, guys. Today's a big, big day. We're so excited for all of our subscribers. We're going to be doing, at the end of this show, our live donation to the charity, guys. Just a huge super thanks, guys, to everybody. Want to say if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Also, want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. You are so awesome, guys. Thank you for your support. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. And guys, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us in supporting this channel. We have decided to go ahead and launch a new channel called TrueLife Breaking News. So this one is called TrueLife News. This new channel is called TrueLife Breaking News. The link is in the description to go, guys. Subscribe. We want to get that channel going as fast as possible. And that channel is going to be focused more on small form content. So we're going to be like 6-minute, 8-minute clips, 10, 12-minute clips. So that way, as things are happening throughout the day, we want to jump on it and get you the most breaking news. So we'll do the big shows here and then the smaller clips over there. But please join, guys. We want to grow that channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, we really appreciate all your support in helping us grow these channels and continuing to serve you guys. But this is getting real. The Supreme Court has decided to side with the Democrats in the very first fight between Trump and them. Check this out.
He was on CNN yesterday, and this was a great hit. He's talking about exactly this again. This whole IRS argument that the DOGE is somehow sneaking around your tax returns. Folks, tax returns, I mean, they have already, the tax returns were leaked. You had Donald Trump's tax returns leaked. The IRS has no But you had the guy who was just convicted of stealing all this data. OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, as data has been stolen by the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, the government employees have a near 10, 20-year history now, not all, but sadly some, of leaking or engaging in shady data practices that have led to the government getting hacked and information stolen. Elon's companies don't have any history of that. So I'll take his guys, sign them up for the government job, say, use your expertise to clean this up. Here's Burchett on CNN. Yeah, hey, this is a canard, this whole thing. Check this out, you'll see what I mean.
What information do you actually have on what DOGE is doing with that data? What are your questions? What do you want to know? Certainly, as a member of the oversight, you have some questions.
Well, first of all, Elon Musk, when he owned PayPal, they've never had a breach of security. IRS is a nightmare, ma'am. You have folks that still haven't gone back to work 3 or 4 years after COVID. As a United States congressman, I can write a letter of concern over a constituent of mine having a problem with the IRS, and it takes up to 6 months for me to get a response.
Look, I'm not saying there's no problems with government agencies or the IRS.
Hold on. You asked me a question. But
you're not answering it.
The IRS
you won't let him answer.
Well, the IRS has hundreds of different groups that have access to this stuff, and yet no one's complained about that.
Boom.
Here's another host on the same as that Pamela Brown. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter. They all blend in at some point. Well, they all spout the same stupid talking points. She asks him a question about the IRS inefficiencies, the DOGE, and access. He's answering the question about how inefficient data exchange is with the IRS, that he can't even get answers for constituents. And her response is, well, I'm not saying there's no problem. Yes, you are saying you don't want to hear about the problems. He's telling you the problems, and you're ignoring it.
Boom.
Folks, we are the media now. Remember that Jen Psaki clip? That's a keeper. It's maybe one of the only true things she's ever said. We are the media now because we share, because we're not mercenary, and we're not selfish. The show's not about Dan Bongino. I've said it 1,000 times, and I back it up by action. We cite stuff, we hat tip people, because it is my job to be an activist first and a host second. It's no good to have a conservative show with a country that's been taken over by a bunch of communists. Can we all agree? And thankfully, the Mark Levins of the world, Hannity and the other friends of mine see it the same way. I got my start with people like that, Glenn Beck, all of them. They helped me out when I needed. We are different. And I need you now, too. Because I need you to, again, debunk some more leftist crap out there right now as they try to eviscerate the Trump administration. Folks, President Trump and Secretary Duffy have been working overnight, ridiculously long hours, I know this for a fact, to try to fix the train wreck, pothole Mayor Pete, this life loser left behind at the Department of Transportation. Folks, it is a train wreck. Our infrastructure's falling apart. The interstate highway system's a mess. Our airports are from the freaking Flintstones. The FAA air traffic control system is something out of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. No one even knows what the hell, if it even works anymore. We've got staffing issues. You had DEI infecting the whole place. It's a train wreck. The secretary's been in there, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Hey, I'll add a few weeks for him. Say he's been in there 6 weeks. The place is a mess. It's going to take a while to clean up.
100%.
So, of course, leave it up to the lefties to double down on an air traffic accident that happened in Canada that has nothing to do with the United States, FAA, Secretary Duffy or Trump. Leave it up to them to try and put the blood on Donald Trump's hands, because this is what they do. Here, listen to Dana Bash on CNN. They can't stop, folks. They can't. Check this out.
This is happening against the backdrop of massive cuts across the federal government, including at the FAA. Just going to put some up on the screen. Hundreds of FAA employees have been laid off as part of Elon Musk going through all the federal agencies. And then beyond the FAA, we have 10% of the CDC workforce, 3,400 at the U.S. Forest Service, 2,200 at the Interior Department, 2,000 at the Department of Energy, 1,000 at the VA.
Okay, so what do we do on this show?
Guys, just want to say thank you so much for your support. We literally got almost 900 people watching. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys. Today's a big day. We're launching the new TrueLife News TrueLife Breaking News channel, and we're also doing our big donation at the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for your support.
Do facts. It's really crazy. Wait, what is that? that is pretty. We do facts. So Dana Bash, of course, total life loser, on her show is eager to pin a deadly, tragic accident on the new secretary and the president of the United States. Of course, there's no actual evidence, just like they don't have evidence of anything we've showed you during the show. Matter of fact, we have counter evidence because we produce receipts. She puts up a chart showing that, about 10,000 people have been let go from the government, and she notes FAA people, too. Now, notice what she leaves out. It's a lie by omission. That none of those people are actually air traffic controllers, and the accident was in Toronto, which last time I checked was in Canada, which is not yet the 51st state. They are a separate country, okay? I mean, I'm not great at geography, but I'm pretty sure it's right north of us. It doesn't matter. Oh, thank you. Here's a chart. Hundreds of FAA employees. None of them were safety people either. None of them. So I just thought, facts kind of matter here. So she's talking about 10,000 people. How many people work in the federal government? So, Michael, I did this crazy thing. You know what I put in the search engine? What do you think question I put in there? How did you know that? This guy's so smart. He's like a math major. I actually put in the search engine, how many people work for the federal government? And it's crazy. A website called
Over
USA
2
Facts.
million.
How many people work for the federal government? Around 3 million.
Oh, my goodness. I was wrong.
So the federal government is so sensitive to personnel exchange. By the way, more people resign every year than is up on Dana Bash's chart. The federal government is so sensitive and fragile that out of a bloated 3 million person workforce, when 10,000 people go and 100 or so people who are new and weren't even safety people, the whole government's going to collapse. Wow. It's good to know. I'm not sure you're making the argument you think you are. But leave it to left-wing lunatics to engage in meltdowns, ridiculous anti-Trump hyperbole. You want to see the show your theory in action, where Dana Bash has to say something dumb, making this ridiculous, alluding to the fact that, these layoffs may have something to do with a plane crash in Canada, which only a moron would believe?
Guys, let me tell you this. That's how it is so bad. Trump has come out, guys. I would be happy to see many of these lose their license. This is what Trump said. MSNBC, commonly known as MSDNC, is a threat to our democracy. Such lying and representation, bad people at the top. So what we know now, guys, is that Trump is going after these huge media companies. For the past 6 years, they have said lies about the Russian hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop, calling Trump a Hitler, a fascist, all this stuff. And they have this free over-the-air waves license that they get from the government, all types of stuff. Trump is saying, you know what? They need to be gone. CBS needs to be gone. CBS just did a 60 Minutes where they literally got fake employees that didn't even work for the USAID to come and lie about circumstances, and Trump is going after them. This is big. I love this, guys. This is accountability. PSI Tag, thank you so much. Welcome to the family. And Karen K, thank you so much for your support. Y'all show Karen some love. And Derek Big D's Z's Potek, welcome to the family, guys. Y'all show them some love in the chat. The big news today, guys, is that the Supreme Court has sided with the Democrats and paused Trump's administration's effort to fire a huge left-leaning, Biden-appointed whistleblower, head of the Whistleblower Protection Agency. This person has openly come out against Trump in big, big ways, and the Supreme Court has officially paused this person's firing and have sided with the Democrats, guys. This is nuts. Trump is literally trying to fight and get his people in, and now the Supreme Court just sided with them. This is nuts. What also is nuts, too, is what I just showed you. Trump is going after all these left-wing media outlets. Guys, listen to this. This is so fake, but yet it keeps being pushed over the air. Check this out.
Scared. I think that 12 days ago, people knew where their next paycheck was coming from. They knew how they were going to pay for their kids' daycare, their medical bills, and then all gone overnight.
Okay, this is like artificial intelligence when they say, or this is Elon Musk and the chips on Neuralinks that it's gonna cure the blind and heal the lame, and you got the guys with the paraplegics and they put the chip in, and all of a sudden they're playing chess. They found this woman. This is in 60 Minutes, but clowned themselves on Sunday night. It's hard to get to lower depths than 60 Minutes is today, particularly given what it used to be back in the 60s and 70s. But they had two segments. The one on German misinformation was, I thought, humiliating for a news organization like 60 Minutes. But this thing was almost as dumb with Scott Pelley, because they picked, I guess this young woman is, because the CIA, they have front, they are doing water projects in India, in South Asia. They are doing, things that every Christian philanthropist would support in sub-Saharan Africa. That ain't USAID. Okay, it's a cutout for the CIA. It's been doing bad stuff all over, right? The NGOs they funded to basically organize and exacerbate the invasion of the southern border, and then everything they did here domestically. But they're going to beat this dead horse as long as it goes. Natalie Winters.
Yeah, that 60 Minutes interview, I think, was yet another example of a live fire exercise of color revolution propaganda. Why do I say that? Because it's the idea of presenting these hardcore, politically left apparatchiks as nonpartisan, independent bureaucrats. Well, 60 Minutes and Deep State, if you want to make that chick your poster child for what it means to be a nonpartisan civil servant, then have at it, because I'm happy to exclusively report, scoop here in the war room, that chick, Christina Dry, well, I uncovered her old blog that she had been writing through the years of the first Trump administration. And believe it or not, she's compared President Trump to Hitler and Mussolini, and actually said that MAGA supporters need to be, quote, exterminated. If you want to put the picture up on screen, she had a blog post called #StillNotTrump,
Wow.
where she demands that, quote, it must not be Trump and that he is, quote, absolutely unfit to run our country. Quote, he reminds us of a reincarnation of Mussolini or pre-genocidal Hitler. Then she has some other blog posts. I'll read this one verbatim. Maybe this is what USAID soft power means, but quote, if your argument to support Donald Trump is that he says it like it is, or some of his stuff makes sense, he says what everyone else is afraid to say, congratulations. You are probably a racist or sexist or misogynistic or homophobic or classist or ableist. You represent the problem we are trying to eliminate.
Wow.
You represent the privilege we keep talking about, going on to say that President Trump has no empathy and gives power to hate, all before writing an article about how she is a white ally and instructs her friends on how to also be a white ally and join the white alliance. I would also be remiss, Steve, to not add that the guy sitting next to her, Adam Dubard, used to work for a group called Represent Us, where he has a bunch of articles smearing January 6th as a corrupt coup, trying to pressure people into not donating and withdrawing funds from Jan 6 lawmakers. And he donated to Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders.
And for 60 Minutes, not to bring this up, first off, they should have been screened and never been on. But this shows you what a group of sad sacks. The only kind of worst I've ever seen is when they did Leslie Stahl, who should be put out to pasture, did the Wuhan, they're embarrassing, humiliating, and they've never come back and said all the mistakes they made and the lies they propagate. It's a clown show. It's a total clown show. Almost as bad. Sunday night on 60 Minutes was almost, I thought, as humiliating as Saturday Night Live, the 50th anniversary. The only stuff that was funny was the old stuff. And you had these smug elites sitting there, just, self-congratulatory. The modern day skits were sophomore. I mean, juvenile, ridiculous, not funny. The whole thing was just a clown show. And then you had Tom Hanks.
Guys, thank you so much for your support. Just want to say, if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, we really appreciate your support so much.
Of course, MAGA's got to be old white racist. Absolutely. So on the nose, bro. Wake up. Natalie, Norm Eisen, the revolver. Remember, Darren Beattie.
I love how this rolls off the tongue, is now acting Undersecretary of State, I think, for public diplomacy. Our own Darren Beatty at Revolver, so other people are running Revolver, but Darren, they're doing a great job. It's an amazing piece of kind of a compilation piece of Norm Eisen and the many reasons he should be in prison, which if we do our job correctly, Norm, you will be.
Guys, let me tell you this. So again, the biggest news today, guys, is that the Supreme Court has sided with the Democrats, paused Trump's administration effort to fire the head of Whistleblower Protection Agency. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Let's go. So I want to give you some details on this, guys. So conservative justices Neil Gorsuch and Samuel Alito dissented from the decision. We had liberal justices Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson, who completely, they were like really going hard on this, saying that Trump has no right to fire any of Biden's appointees, which is kind of a dumb statement to make. And they're literally not giving us the details on the other ones, but I'll keep digging, guys, for y'all, because this is big. This is the first time the Supreme Court has stepped into the mix between Trump and the Democrats of what is happening in his new administration. And for them to allow for the Democrats to still be in office after Trump's like, hey, I don't want you over this, I'm going to fire you, and then they undo the firing, this to me is an overstep of the Supreme Court. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But the good news, guys, is that right now, the left is, again, they have nowhere to go. They are losing it right now. And why? Because that Trump is winning so much, the Democrats are stressed out. Check this out.
1 month into Trump's presidency, and Democrats are ripping out their hair. Clooney plays cool guys in the movies, but Trump's got them all stressed out. The Times says, quote, George Clooney has been sneaking outside to smoke. I had to get better at inhaling, he said. I got outside so the kids don't see and smoke a little bit. And he plans to switch to herbal cigarettes. George was the face of the Biden coup, but he insists there's blood on the media's hands. Quote, Biden abdicated his responsibility by hiding his incapacities, and the media, in many ways, dropped the ball. The media covered for Biden and ushered in the return of the king, and they're very mad.
Trump has never really wanted to be president. He actually has always wanted to be king. Right now, what we're seeing is he's waving his scepter, his king scepter.
Yeah. Sonny better get it together. The Post says the ABC bosses fired 9 staffers on The View.
Dang.
Told the ladies to dial back the Trump hate.
What?
There's a real us versus the world vibe going on right now, and congressional Democrats aren't siding with us.
The fact that I'm rooting for Canada and I'm rooting for Mexico a lot is really wild, but they are really...
Guys, this is a representative of the United States. This is like, to me, treasonous. How could you root for other countries instead of your own? This is mind-blowing.
The ones that are speaking truth to power right now.
Okay, well, Jasmine's doubling down on crazy. The other half of the party is trying to get it back on track. This week, Mayor Pete told a panel that DEI is dumb and it's turning people off. Sonny Hostin heard that and blew a gasket.
So do you agree with him that DEI initiatives drove voters to Trump? And what else can be done to make sure everyone is represented on an even playing field?
You know what I think? And
what do you think, Sonny?
I like Pete, of course, but I think he got that so wrong, and I think it was so tone deaf, considering
Which
what's
part?
going on. All of it.
Wow.
I thought all of it was tone deaf because what happens is when from 1776 to 1965, you have basically white men in charge of everything, right? Women, people of color, we're left out of just equality of opportunity, that sort of thing.
Well, it's been months since the election, and the Democrats are still clawing each other's eyes out. This fracture runs deep. It's not healing anytime soon. Half the party's plotting a new way forward, and the other half's doubling down on woke. They're not even fighting for important policies that Democrat voters care about. It's all superficial DEI and trans stuff. That's basically irrelevant, and it's practically illegal now. And when the party's too busy fighting each other, they can't fight for voters, and they can't fight Trump. The left needs new leadership. Stephen A. Smith said the party's in such bad shape, even he's being talked about as a candidate. But James Carville told him to stick to sports.
Stephen A., are you me? Before you start running your mouth off about politics, a topic of which you really don't know anything about. So, Stephen A., keep up your on sports. I enjoy it. I like it, but don't make a fool of yourself anymore in talking about politics.
Ooh, attacking Stephen A. is crazy. He's like one of the hottest talents in America.
That is true.
Probably one of our top trash talkers. Stephen A. heard the Raging Cajun's message loud and clear, fired right back.
But if you really, really think, James Carville, about what I said, you've been saying the exact same things. I saw you on Fox News. I saw you on CNN. I saw you on your podcast. Where the hell you think I got some of the stuff from? Is what I said really the problem? Or is it the fact that some novice who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the wall when it comes to politics is resonating in the political stratosphere more than you?
Ooh.
And if you're going to mention my name, can we cut out the profanity?
Fox News contributor Joe Concha joins us now. So Carville versus Stephen A. How's it going so far?
Kind of like the way Michael Tyson and Michael Spinks, when they fought each other, about 91 seconds in, pretty much over.
It's over.
Stephen A. is Mike Tyson in this scenario. James Carville predicted that Hillary Clinton would win in 2016 in a landslide. Said that Kamala Harris would win in the last election. So as far as his advice, I'm not sure that it's been relevant since 1992 when he ran Bill Clinton's campaign.
What about Mayor Pete versus The View? I didn't see that coming.
No. Look, Mayor Pete he has his eye on 2028, right? He realizes that DEI is where politicians go to DIE. So now he's pivoting towards the center because he's basically like the Chat GPT candidate. You could program him to say whatever you want as long as it's polling well. So that's what Pete is thinking about at this point. I have to go to the center if I'm going to beat J.D. Vance or whoever the Republican nominee may be. Could be Donald Trump for all we know.
How would you advise these Democrats? They still don't understand why they lost. I mean, you heard the lady from Maine, the governor, say she's going to sue Trump in court to keep boys playing sports against girls.
Yeah, great strategy. That is an 80-20 issue at this point. 80 support biological men not competing against women in sports. She said, I'll see you in court. So she's taking the 20 side at this point. You cannot underestimate just how dire the situation is for the Democratic Party right now. As in like, oh crap, I'm on the Epstein client list as a Reward Club's member, kind of dire. Quinnipiac poll out today, Jesse. 22% approve of the Democratic Party, 68% disapprove. They are 46 points underwater. So that's like say hi to Jack Dawson next to the Titanic, kind of underwater at this point. And the problem is they're trying to attack the Terminator to bureaucracy in terms of Donald Trump with the rhetorical version of a BB gun. And the reason is that the stage before crazy is helplessness. And they feel helpless right now because they don't have the White House, don't have the Senate, don't have the House, don't have the Supreme Court. Ideologically, that's 6-3. In theory, at this point, more Republicans are governors of states right now than Democrats. So James Carville, at this point, when he says the party has no power, he is right about that. But look at the top polling candidates, another poll out today. The top three are now Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, and Tim Walz. All right? That's not exactly Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and A.J. Brown.
I see what you did there.
That's the problem there.
Thank you. I mean, so much has happened. You forget the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
2 weeks ago.
That's good to remember. Thank you for bringing that.
Guys, let me tell you this. The fight is getting serious right now, guys. But I have some really good news for you guys. There's such a push right now for the DOGE checks. Trump and Musk want DOGE checks. Guys, this is from Business Insider. Guys, all this new news that's coming out is insane. Thank you so much, Summerman, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, continue to fight Dems, continue to trash. Talk Trump, you only make him stronger. He will send you to prison. Y'all show Summerman some love in the chat. Guys, they want the DOGE checks, and look what Trump literally put out this morning. Elon is doing a great job, but I would like to see him get more aggressive. What? Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before. MAGA. I love it, guys. I want to say thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much. Let's get to 2,000 likes on stream, guys. We can do it. Guys, this is getting so big with this Doge dividend, the Doge checks, guys. Get ready to hear somebody on CNN get totally obliterated. Guys, this, and people are resonating with this on the right and the left. Check this out.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. And by the way, James, I hope that he is. I don't like the approach, but I like the fact that something's being done. There is no money in the till. We owe $36 trillion. We owe $106,000 each. So whatever the savings ought to be, it's not like President Trump's doing us a favor by giving us 20%. Everything ought to go to the debt because the Peterson people say by 2050, 50% of all revenue is going to go to satisfying interest on the debt. We should be paying the debt. Your response?
My response is this. We should be paying the debt, which is why the DOGE dividend incentivizes every American to call out waste, fraud, and abuse, to lower the budget, to narrow the deficit, and to bring down the debt. Where was this emergency over the debt when we sent $350 billion to Ukraine to be wasted? Where was this emergency, Michael, on CNN when you guys were advocating $7,000 to migrants in Chicago? $7,000 a month per migrant, and now we want to spend $5,000 one time from President Trump to hardworking Americans. The migrants didn't deserve $7,000 a month. Hardworking Americans deserve a $5,000 check with President Trump's name on it. So enough with the double standard. Ukraine did not deserve $350 billion.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me.
Sorry, guys. I wish I had a mic, man. I wish I had a mic. I got a remote. I want to mic drop this. I want to remote drop this. This dude just got owned on CNN. You want to give $7,000 a month to illegal migrants, but yet whenever Trump wants to give $5,000 one time to Americans, now you're concerned about the debt? Listen to this.
This is Madoff-like. This is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Ukraine was a Ponzi scheme. The migrant funding was a Ponzi scheme. Hardworking Americans deserve a break.
James,
it was their money, Michael. It was their money.
James, give me a chance to speak. Theoretically, it's my program. We don't have the money, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a Ponzi.
So we didn't have the money for Ukraine, right? We didn't have the money for Ukraine. $350 billion.
I never do this. I don't want to be that guy. And do I have to silence your microphone so that I can respond to what you've said?
You hear this?
Because there's so much fallacy in what you've just offered.
Please go ahead and refute it.
I have a very simple premise here. We're $36 trillion in debt. It's a fraud. As much as I want to see us cut waste, fraud, and abuse, it is an absolute fraud to say to the American people, because of what Musk is doing, we have $5,000 to give each of you. The only way we have $5,000 is if we're borrowing it, because we're that far in debt. I'm trying to meet you halfway, which is simply to say, what a good thing that finally we're going to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, albeit it shouldn't be in this haphazard fashion. But let's at least be honest with the American people that whatever we quote unquote save, we already owe. Now I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then I'm going to say, see you later. Go ahead.
Michael, let me say this. We're fellow Americans. We care about this issue, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on this program, but I got to speak truth here. At the end of the day, we've got to send the money back that is saved, just 20% of it. The other 80% goes down to paying the national debt and narrowing the deficit. To your point, yes, there has been a fraud against the American people, the Green New Scam, Ukraine, the migrant crisis. Their taxpayer dollars were sent abroad, were not sent at home, were not spent in America, not on health care, not on education. That ends with President Trump's leadership today. He is delivering on his promise of major government reform, Michael. The DOGE dividend plan is bold, and Americans support it.
Guys, the DOGE dividend plan is real. Guys, thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Let's go. He said the Mexican president is going to pass a law to protect the Mexican cartels from Trump. I'd hate to see that. That'd be very, very bad for the Mexican president. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat. Guys, let me tell you this. This is so real right now, guys. The DOGE check, what's going on. But do you see how much the left freaks out that Trump just wants to give 20%, not even all of it, 20% back to the taxpayers in the form of a $5,000 check, and they're freaking out saying we don't have the money. But yet when he called him out saying you gave hundreds of billions of dollars overseas, you gave hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal immigrants, why are you freaking out now? The left has no cause, guys. Listen to this beautiful segment that I've got for you next.
DOGE dividend checks that would be 20% back to taxpayers, 20% to pay down the debt. 60% is left. Who gets that?
When you achieve savings, you can either return it to taxpayers, you can return it to our debtors, or it can be cycled into next year's budget, and then it just lowers the overall baseline for next year. This is all going to be worked on through the reconciliation process with Congress that's going underway right now.
The White House breaking down how government savings will be used. Now, DOGE is proposing that a percentage should go straight to Americans' pockets. And James Fishback is a DOGE advisor. He came up with this idea. That escalated quickly, James. So here was Elon Musk yesterday talking to Hannity about this. Watch.
The overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt. The massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
James, sorry, that was on Tuesday, not last night. But the sentiment continues. And a question based on, even on what Stephen Miller was just explaining to Peter Doocy yesterday, the $55 billion in savings that DOGE has found so far, has that money then been transferred back to the Treasury, or is it still at those agencies waiting some sort of assignment from either the president or actually from Congress?
Well, it's somewhere in the ether, Dana, but I think the more important question is that where is this money going to go when we end up saving it when DOGE is all said and done? President Trump is off to a smashing start. What an incredible first month. Now it's time to look at the DOGE savings, as our proposal calls out, and send 20% of that right back to the hardworking Americans who sent it.
Guys, if you didn't know, this James Fishback is a DOGE advisor. He's the one who literally came up with the idea to give it back, 20% back to the American people.
D.C. in the first place, Dana. They didn't send it to Washington, D.C. for it to be spent on a rocky Sesame Street or on a transgender opera in Colombia. They sent it for our roads, our bridges, our health care, and our education. That clearly has been lacking. So guess what? Taxpayers are overdue for restitution. They need a refund. And I'm proud that President Trump supports our proposal.
So in your idea, and maybe that's not fully fleshed out yet, but would the dividend checks go to people, like all taxpayers, or just to people making a certain amount of money?
It's a great question. So the plan, everyone can read it at mydogedividend.com. The plan is very simple, Dana. We think DOGE will save $2 trillion in total. You take 20% of that, that's $400 billion. You divide that by the number of American households that will pay federal income tax this year. That's 79 million. That gets you $5,000 to every American tax-paying household next summer. It'll have President Trump's signature on it, because without him, without his leadership, this would not be possible.
Okay, the New York Times asked this, a DOGE dividend. President Trump floated giving taxpayers a piece of any savings that Elon Musk's cost-cutting generates, which could reignite inflation. And I'm no AI expert, but I just checked on Grok. I just asked a question. Would giving these checks possibly lead to more inflation? And Grok says yes. What do you say?
I say no, and here's why, Dana. The first reason is that our economy is in much better shape the last time stimulus checks were indiscriminately sent out by President Biden. We had a massive labor shortage, supply chain dislocations, and they were sent out to everybody, not just taxpayers. The second reason is that this money is coming from direct savings. So remember, for every $5 that DOGE saves, $1 goes back to hardworking taxpayers. And a poll from 2019, CNBC found that 70% of Americans would use this type of check to pay down debt, which is the opposite of inflationary. It's deflationary. So this is a good policy. So it's good economics.
That's going to be my last question. Do you think that if somebody does ultimately get this check, if they have credit card debt, they should use that extra money that they found, the savings, the money they weren't expecting to get back, and pay down their own debt?
Absolutely. Just like
so
DC should get its house in order.
So then should the government do the same?
the government should do the same, which is why this proposal calls for the rest of the money, the other 80%, to narrow the deficit, Dana, and to pay down our national debt. But American taxpayers who have worked hard, they need a break, they need restitution. The biggest part, Dana, though, is we incentivize them to report waste, fraud, and abuse, as President Trump said on Air Force One. Report waste, fraud, and abuse, Dana, because guess what? The more DOGE saves, the bigger their DOGE dividend check is.
Stephen Miller breaking down the expected plan to distribute the funds that have been clawed back by DOGE, or at least some of them, as those DOGE dollars may soon be headed for your bank account. President Trump floating a plan that would use some of the department's savings to help pay down America's debt and have more go directly to the taxpayers. Let's bring in our panel, former Biden White House.
Guys, like, this is so beautiful, guys. This is all these big news outlets, guys, that are coming out. This is real, guys. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Guys, let's get to 2,000 likes on stream. We can do it. This is real, guys. And what I love is that Trump is doubling down. Musk is doubling down. They are businessmen. And they know that whenever you incentivize people, they kind of really work to do things a lot faster. And what I love too, guys, this is how amazing things are. Donald Trump also posted this morning and literally just said in all caps, our southern border is closed. Like, think about it. It's been literally just over a month in 2 days, and he's done his job. Listen to this, guys, because this is justice for America. Getting these leadership in place, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Tulsi Gabbard, all these people is phenomenal. But what it is they've all vowed to expose the corruption and allow America to see what's really been happening behind the door. Check this out.
Today, Kash Patel was sworn in as FBI director.
Oh, man, this is effing crazy. I am living the American dream.
Guys, I have to say this, guys. His girlfriend right there on the side is literally trending more than any other news out there today. She's a 26-year-old conservative influencer from Nashville, just, my home state. And then homeboy is 44 years old. So he's a happy guy, but I'm telling you, this is how hilarious the news is.
Dream. And anyone that thinks the American dream is dead, just look right here. You're talking to a first-generation Indian kid who's about to lead the law enforcement community, the greatest nation on God's green earth. That can't happen anywhere else.
Kash's boss, Pam Bondi, has got the right priorities. She's not going to drag her feet delivering justice. Watch this.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
We'll have full analysis of those documents once they drop, and we expect full transparency from this administration. The media doesn't seem interested in the Epstein files. I wonder why. Well, we're about to find out. Secretary Hegseth over at the Pentagon's taking on the press head on.
Time after time, the media distorts good news stories or often just gets them flat wrong. In many cases, well, in most cases, they have an agenda. So when we make decisions that are misreported in the media, we're going to try to get to you as quickly as possible. And not just me, it'll be other people as well. So you understand the real thought process behind them and then how they relate to our core mission of fighting and winning war, hopefully deterring them, but fighting and winning wars, and then how we spend your taxpayer dollars wisely to accomplish that mission.
Hegseth, first order of business, kicking CNN out of the Pentagon press room. He's replacing them with some fresh blood from fair and balanced outlets. This administration likes to deal with problems face to face. Here's what happened when all 50 governors came to have lunch at the White House today. They thought it was just going to be a friendly lunch until the governor of Maine almost choked on her chicken. Trump heard Maine is still letting boys in the girls' locker room. Watch.
NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. See you in court. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Now, Maine's under investigation as of this afternoon.
Wow.
Should have complied. Boys ruining girls' sports shouldn't be the hill Democrats die on. But Maine decided, what the hell, let's lose face in $250 million. Trump knows when he has a winning hand. He had some harsh words for Zelensky earlier this week, and now the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the Ukrainian president has come around and is going to sign the mineral deal with us. The Trump team doesn't operate in the shadows. They do their job and then tell you about it.
Here we have a guy named Gonzalez who's been convicted of sodomy of children less than 13 years of age.
Wow.
He has been sentenced to prison, but he is out of our country now, thanks to President Trump. Another guy here who is arrested and has been removed, but he was convicted for possession of distributing child porn. So this guy was distributing that throughout the country, illegal alien, gone from our country now. Here we have a Chinese national convicted of murder, now is gone.
Almost 200 migrant criminals
Guys,
just landed in
this?
Venezuela.
That is what we've been getting out. That's what the Democrats were fighting so dang hard because they didn't want us to do that. It is mind-blowing how just when we see this, what is actually going on behind the scenes, they are showing it to us, guys. Even like this, Elon Musk posted, said the Biden administration stole FEMA money that was meant for American hurricane victims and spent it on luxury hotels for illegals in New York. Guys, this is from Elon Musk, 218 million followers, the richest guy in the world, calling out all this stuff. Here's the receipt. Here's the complaint, guys. We bring the receipts. This stuff was happening right in front of our faces. And the Democrats were proponents of this. Thank you so much, Robert Pascarella. Welcome to the family. Let's go. And welcome. Thank you so much, Music Collection, for you. Y'all show Music Collection some love in the chat, guys. This is transparency, guys. They complain that they're doing things behind the scenes. No, these are literally the court documents right in front of your face. We see it. We know what's going on. Donald Trump is in it for complete transparency. And what I love too, guys, is that, again, the biggest danger to our country, we are now learning, because remember, Trump said it, is from within. Listen to this.
Joining us now, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. That was him speaking just a few moments ago on the floor of the Senate. Senator Paul, welcome back. I think you're 100% right. Maybe you'll tell us more about what you said and what you're thinking on this point.
You know, we have two different budget battles going on, one in the Senate and one in the House. On the Senate side, it's been led by Lindsey Graham, who wants to spend more money on the military and more border money. My point has always been, with all the savings that Elon Musk is finding and DOGE is finding, send that back to us as a rescission package, and we can apply that to the border or the military. Instead, they're going ahead and just teeing up new spending without any significant cuts outlined so far. In the House, they lined up $1.5 trillion worth of cuts in their budget bill. I'm going to add that as an amendment, or try. So tonight the effort will go all night long probably, but the amendment that I will put forward will be, let's put the House spending cuts into our budget, $1.5 trillion, and show that we're serious so people like me can be more enthused about the project. Right now, I think it's just a spending bill, which I think it's a waste of an election, and it goes against what President Trump is saying and against what Elon and DOGE are doing.
Yes, I mean, 100% across the board on this. And, you know, I think President Trump, look, I've argued, you know, because Senator Crapo has said many times, the budget committees, can, under reconciliation rules and laws, create their own baseline. You could put a plug in, and it'll be $1 trillion plug for DOGE or a $2 trillion plug for DOGE, and then have them go after it for the next 5 years or longer. Nothing wrong with that. It conforms very well. There's also small entitlements. People are afraid to cut any mandatory spending. The mandatory spending, the welfare spending has exploded. This is not just this is post-pandemic. It's exploded, and it continues to explode. And all the criteria have been waived. Nobody has to worry about work requirement. All these things seem to be missing from Lindsey Graham's budget resolution, and I don't know why anybody would want to pay any mind to it.
Every able-bodied person in America should work, not as punishment, but as reward. It's how we get our self-esteem, and I want everyone to work. And I don't want anybody that's able-bodied to get a check, one bit of a check, without work. That actually saves money, too. Saves over $100 billion.
Guys, thank you so much for your support. Guys, if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, we really appreciate you so much.
Dollars from Medicaid. The states should pay more of their fair share. When the federal government pays for Medicaid, we borrow it and we have the Fed to print up the money. States don't have a central bank. They don't have a Federal Reserve. So states are, by their very nature, more fiscally responsible than the federal government. So every program that is shared between the states and the federal government needs to be shifted back where the states have to pay more. Not because we're being mean to the states, but we have to shift the burden because we're accumulating too much debt. Interest this year is going to be $1 trillion, $37 trillion overall. I fear that our greatest danger to our country is from within, and I'm going to be the only Republican no on this, but somebody's got to.
You're making great points, sir. In my view, you're making very important points, and I hope your colleagues listen to it. Meanwhile, you're going soft on President Trump, I understand. Little birdie told me you like his cabinet picks, you like his Russia-Ukraine policy, and you like the Elon Musk DOGE policy. Tell us about it, please.
So, you know, during the campaign, you asked me a couple of times, are you endorsing? When are you endorsing? And I was on your program a couple of times, and I said I always wasn't there. So I'm a little bit late, but I'm enthusiastically endorsing Donald Trump. So I'm either late for the second term, or maybe I'm early for the third term. I don't know. But I am endorsing Donald Trump.
You gotta like the DOGE effort. You just have to like the Elon Musk DOGE effort. I don't know if you've talked to Elon, but you just gotta love it.
And to my mind, what Donald Trump is doing, the sense he's talking about foreign policy, and the fact that, you know, all these, the establishment up here is like, oh, we got to save democracy. Well, don't you have to have elections to have a democracy? So we spent $200 billion in a country that no longer has elections. For goodness sakes, that's not making the world safe for democracy. That's making the world safe for kleptocracy.
And also, what DOGE is doing on the regulatory front, you may have, I don't know if you saw the Sean Hannity interview with Elon and President Trump, but basically, Elon said, look, I'm your tech assistant. He's a humble guy. I'm your tech assistant, but he wants to enforce the executive orders, so many of which, as you know, Senator Paul, are aimed at downsizing or eliminating key parts of the regulatory state, as well as the waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption in the rest of the budget.
Yeah, I think they're doing an amazing job. All I ask is that they collect all of this together, put it into a rescission package so Congress can vote on it. There is this constitutional power of the purse thing. I love everything they're doing, but to make it real, lasting savings, I want to see Congress vote on this, and I will do everything in my power to get over 50%. All we need is a simple majority to cut this spending. I'm afraid that it might disappear, or the second we turn around again, it pops back up and they're spending the money again, unless we actually change the law and quit spending the money.
Well, you know, OMB Director Russell Vought, who's an awful good guy, awful smart guy, he wants to make a run at impoundment. I know what you're saying about rescission authority. I understand that. Requires votes in the House and the Senate. But I don't know. I think there is an argument still to be made about presidential executive impoundment authority, particularly, Senator, when it comes to saving money. In other words, don't build $1 billion bridge if you can build a $500 million bridge. Don't spend all that money if you don't have to.
I think there's a great amount of leeway for the president to pause spending and examine it, and that's what's going on now. There's going to come a time when people are going to call this impoundment. The court precedent so far is that the presidents can't impound money. Does the Supreme Court have a different decision? Sometimes you have to challenge things if it's a law that talks about separation of powers. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but I think it's messy and long, and there's a chance the ruling goes against. I think we should also try to do the right thing, have Congress actually step forward and finally vote to cut spending, and I'll lead the effort if they send it back to us.
Well, is nobody talking about plugging this Senate budget with all the Musk DOGE savings? I mean, I can't. I'm not that smart. There has to be lots of people that understand it can be done. Just the last few seconds.
Well, we'll see. I'm going to have an amendment to say $1.5 trillion in cuts must be part of this budget. We'll see whether my amendment passes, how many Republicans vote for it, and how many don't.
All right, terrific stuff.
Guys, let me tell you this. This is, we're literally in a fight right now, guys. This is the biggest breaking news today. The first time that the Supreme Court is intervening within the Trump administration and the Democratic Party as to what's going to happen. And they sided with the Democrats. This really sucks, especially when Trump is trying to clean house, when Trump is trying to get the best people in there and make sure that he's getting a lot of the really left-leaning progressive appointees out of there that Biden appointed. And the Supreme Court has paused Trump's administration effort to fire the head of a whistleblower protection agency. This is a huge, huge hit and blow to Trump. But they're going to continue fighting this, guys. Thank you so much, Gerald Stewart. Welcome to the family. And Sherry Garcia, thank you so much for the super chat. She said, secure the polls, proof of citizenship, photo ID, paper ballots, one day, 100%. Y'all show Sherry some love in the chat. Guys, and again, too, there's this front. And guys, you will not believe it. Who has the audacity that Governor Newsom has requested $40 billion for the LA fire recovery? Remember what Trump said, voter ID or you don't get no federal funding. Think about it like this, guys. This is the breakdown that they want. $16.8 billion for public assistance, $9.9 billion for home and business repairs. Look at this, just all billions and billions of dollars. But this is the crazy thing. The California state is has the fifth largest GDP in the world. Not just the United States. It's the world, guys. $3.987 trillion. Where does all the dang money go? They literally voted weeks ago, and California is now paying $9.5 billion a year just for health care on illegal immigrants. So right now, I don't expect any of this to pass through, but it's just so mind-blowing that Governor Gavin Newsom would try to request $40 billion from the federal government when his state has the money, but they don't know how to mismanage it. They give tens of billions of dollars to illegal migrants when their own citizens, American citizens, need the help. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section, guys. This is very, very just slap in the face to everybody that pays taxes, and especially in California, who has some of the highest taxes on everything, guys. Listen to this, because again, too, the resistance is trying to stop Trump at every single point. Check this out.
The resistance to the Trump mandate, of course, is very fierce, but tonight it is clear that resistance is losing. As the new president floods this machine with a barrage of radical changes to a bloated and very exploited system, in the past 24 hours, we've seen 2 judges ruling that government layoffs can continue, ending desperate lawsuits designed to shield the bureaucratic state from much-needed reform. The lawsuits are all they have to protect the rot of Washington from the Trump mandate, and we're watching this device used to preserve the tyranny of the minority, as they call it. We're watching this device fail. Today, the president met with a bipartisan group of America's governors. And if you didn't watch this live, you missed quite a show. He made it very clear that if you don't follow federal laws, don't expect to get federal money for your states. Once again, using the leverage that he has with the power that he has been assigned. This is what he's doing all over the world. He's now doing it domestically as well. Trump singled out the governor of Maine. You've never heard of this woman unless you live there. 77-year-old Janet Mills. What a picture. A left-wing activist governor, BLM and trans fanatic presiding over a state that is nowhere near as radical as herself. Take a listen to this.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is the Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Not here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal law.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
I'll see you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Janet Mills is going to try and step to Trump in his house. This is not going to go well, Janet. It's not going to go well at all. And in fact, her career is most likely over at this point. Kamala may have won Maine. She eked out that state. She did. But that election, as we all know, was a severe cultural mandate, especially on the issue of trans and women's sports and everything like that. I mean, the Democrat Party bled out on issues like that. Voters do not want men in women's sports. There was a familiar story that came out of her state, out of Maine. High school pole vaulter just a couple years ago. Very mediocre as a boy, flips to being a girl and starts dominating and makes all the little girls at that school not really interested in competing anymore because they have no chance of winning.
Guys, when you're 5th place as a boy and then you become number 1 by a huge margin as a dude, come on, man. Like common sense.
And how many times have we had to see our little girls disappointed, their hopes shredded, all the fun taken away because some kid had to ruin it? Janet Mills stated today she intends to keep fighting to protect the rights of that young man at the expense of young girls. So she took nothing from the last election. She didn't understand the mandate at all. And she intends to fight this in court. Good luck. It is a perfect example of the Democrat Party's suicidal new brand of politics, ready to die on a hill for an issue that they have about 20% support on. It's the same as their insane reaction to DOGE and cutting government waste. Our big Elon Musk interview from yesterday got a lot of attention over at MSNBC today, where Morning Joe tried to convince Americans that nobody actually wants to see our very bloated government sliced apart. Take a listen.
The word that the constituent said last night, sloppy. That's what you've got here. So this idea that all Republicans, want a guy wielding a chainsaw and just slashing NIH budgets, slashing USAID budgets, slashing FAA, slashing TSA. I'm sorry, I'll just say it. That's not what a lot of Republicans voted for Donald Trump for.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Guys, want to say thank you so much, Gospel One Ministries, for the super chat. Let's go. Guys, want to say thank you to everybody that is watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And remember, we launched a new TrueLife breaking news channel. The link is in the description to join. This is going to be a channel focused on short clips, guys. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. We usually run about 50 minutes to an hour with our shows. So please go subscribe to that, guys. Let's grow that channel as fast as possible so we can continue giving you the breaking news throughout the day as much as possible. Guys, and just want to say thank you to everybody that supports our channel. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, we really do appreciate your support. Right now, guys, we're going to move into, this is a super important part to me, and I hope it's an important part to you guys, that once a month, what we do is we give back. And we donate. What you're about to see me do live on stream is donate to this charity called New Beginnings, bringing families together. There's a lot of kids that get put into the foster care system. The kids that the mothers can't handle the pregnancy and they can't take care of the kid. Well, guess what? That child still needs a home. They need a forever home. And so what we're going to be doing, guys, is because of you. When you give a super chat, when you're a member of this channel, and guys, the link is in the description to be a member. Our memberships start out at 99 cents. Why? Because we care more about, we want to get as many people as possible joining us in our efforts to bring positive change in this world. And so this is beautiful, guys. You can go to this website. It's called newbeginningsadoptions.org. It's a beautiful charity where they help families find forever homes. There's sometimes you have unplanned pregnancies. There's sometimes where kids don't have nowhere to go. And this is a beautiful, beautiful charity that we're going to be donating to live online. And I'm so excited to say, guys, we're going to be donating $1,500 online. You're about to see me do it. This receipt, guys, you're going to see the receipt. I'm going to show you everything, guys, because to me, this matters. This in our channel, we not only bring you the breaking news every single day, 2 shows a day, Monday through Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, but we also want to be known as a channel that gives back. So you see here, guys, I'll refresh the page again. This is beautiful. I want to say thank you so much, JH, for the super chat, Brooke Tracy for joining the family. Here's for the kids, for me and GLL. Let's go. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. Look, I'm hitting the donate. We're going to the New Beginnings. Your gift supports our mission. Make a donation today. You're seeing me one time. We're going to be donating $1,500. Remember, when you donate, YouTube takes a portion of that, and then whatever I get left, I take that, and then I put in some, and I partner with you to give back and donate what you're about to see right now, guys. $1,500, and this is all because of you. Like right now, when I give this in just a moment, this channel will have given over the past 6 months over $25,000 to charities partnering with you. And guys, to me, I don't know what other channels out there do this, but to me, this matters. And I'm just going to go ahead. Now, I'm going to turn it back to my face real quick. I got to put in my personal information, guys. But what I'm about to do is once I get to the receipt page and showing where, showing you the actual receipt of them, I got to zoom in a little because again, guys, it's the internet. It's got my personal information on it, guys. And I just want to be as transparent as possible with you because to me, this is what it's all about. So it's going through. It just gave through here. I'm zooming in so you can see, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you, Joel. Your gift of $1,500 will make a difference. Guys, here it is. New Beginnings. I just gave it, guys. This is all because of you. And I just want to say, guys, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so. Continue to support us. And like I said, we have our new channel called TrueLife Breaking News. The link is in the description to join. And we want to grow that, guys. Our first goal is 1,000 subscribers. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers as fast as possible. We want to continue growing this positive impact. And it's all because of you, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. And we want to continue to serve you every day with the breaking news. And we couldn't do this without you. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.